It's about to be another intriguing episode, this one. Today, we are going to be exploring the world of music, particularly the areas of artist management, music recording contracts. Who's an artist manager? What's a record label? What's their significance in the career trajectory of an artist? And to help us navigate this terrain today, we have an expert with us. Her name is Charlène Osei Mensah. She's the co-founder and country manager for Tieme Music. Tieme Music is a music company in Ghana, reputable music company in Ghana that offers label services such as music distribution, music publishing services, and the like. And we are hoping to borrow from her wealth of experience today. I'm your host, William, and this is the Community First podcast, where we have legal and social conversations with the community. Stick with us. Charlene, you're welcome to the Community First podcast. We are so grateful that you could take some time out of your very, very busy schedule to just have this conversation with us. I think we'll just delve straight into it. We'll start with artist management. Let's demystify this whole concept of an artist manager. When we hear about artist managers, who exactly is an artist manager in the music space?
All right. Thank you so much, William, for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. So what is a manager? So a manager is actually someone that represents the artist, someone that coordinates every contact with the artist. And it's also someone that knows exactly the global vision of an artist. So you already know where the artist wants to be. Let's say, for example, in the next 10 years. So he knows what line of trajectory the artist is supposed to go into for this all year until he reach to his global goal. This is what a manager is.
Okay. So that from listening to you, are there like different kinds of managers?
Yes, there is different kind of managers. So there is the normal manager that everybody knows about. So the manager that you see when you want to reach out an artist, the artist is simply going to tell you, oh, maybe right now I'm not available, but you can speak directly to my manager. Okay. And so this manager is the one that actually coordinates everything relationship with the artist, and knows also the global vision and also represent the artist at every reunion, every meeting, or everywhere where the artist is supposed to attend. Then there is also the business manager. Okay. So this business manager is the manager that is supposed to handle everything that is business. When the artist receives his incomes, this business manager can also actually check where he can place the money and where he can make more incomes for the artist. Then there is the talent manager. So talent manager is mostly the manager that will put the artist on other stuff without music. So for example, you are now a big artist, very big artist, but you want to tap into being an actor or into having a modeling career. This is where the talent manager enters in. And then you have the road manager, the tour manager. This manager is mostly here for you when you are on tours, when you have shows and stuff. You have to make sure that everything during this tour or during these shows are going well, and is also here to coordinate. So while the artist is with his manager, so the main manager, the manager that everybody knows, on the side there is also a tour manager or a road manager that is here only for all of this, or the aspect that is concert or tour, anything like that. And then also, this is not really management, but there is also A&R in some labels. And that can also help you mostly on the digital process of your song, on the recording process of your song. They can also connect you with songwriters or, other people that can actually help you in your project. This is where the A&R comes in, and they can also help you with your digital promotion or even just your promotion
generally.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think about the Asa Cowboys when you mentioned road manager.
Yeah.
I heard that you did some, or you assisted them in their touring when they toured in Europe. I don't know if that was the role you were playing, or it's a different thing.
It's a different role. So I'm not the road manager, and I
them.
was never the road manager for them. They already have a road manager. Yeah, but me as a label, this is where I comes in, and I've proposed them. Okay, you know what? You guys are going to these places. We can organize a concert for you in France. And so this was
that's the kind of assistant. That's great. So with these different facets of the managerial role, is it best to have different types of managers, or you can have one manager handling everything, which I can imagine would be very stressful? Because
so of course, when you start, you are an artist, but you just started. You don't really have a lot of fans, a lot of audience. Like, you are just an artist. First of all,
pay off.
Exactly. You just started. So let's say that for the moment, because you just started, you need only just one manager. And most of the time, this manager is not even paid, because you just started, you're an upcoming artist. This manager saw your talent. He's passionate about your music. He believes in you. Yes, he wants to invest in you, but he doesn't really know how. And per a conversation, he was like, okay, you know what? Let me be your manager. Mostly in Ghana, sometimes the manager is mostly the friend of the artist, or just someone that just, saw the artist like that. Family friend.
Member.
Yeah, he's not really someone that knows a lot about the music business. So some of them also enter in the tricky side, where because they don't really know about the music business, they will never even do a contract with the artist. So they will just come on board and verbally say, okay, I want to be your manager. Are you okay with that? The artist will be like, yes, okay, I'm okay with that. And then at the end of the day, there is no contract. And because there is no contract, right now the artist is an upcoming artist, so there is no need of a contract. But you, as the manager, you know the global vision of this artist. You knew that this artist told you that, like, in 10 years, I want to be big. So you too, you've put all your effort, all your strength in that. You did everything for this artist to actually reach his global position. But then when he reached this global position, because there is no contract in between the two of you guys, it's like you did that for nothing.
It's true. And it's one of the, I don't know how exactly that issue is ever going to be solved, because typically, like you said, it starts with the person starting with virtually nothing. So he wouldn't even have the funds to pay you formally, properly as an artist. So he would have to rely on the relationship he has with you. But it is important for there to be contracts. And speaking of the contract, what are some important, just for the benefit of emerging acts out there who don't really know so much about this aspect of the music, they just get into the studio and record, but these are all very important conversations. And regarding such contracts, right, even if you can't hire a lawyer to draft a comprehensive contract for you, if you were to put something on paper, what are some important things you should agree on in such a management contract? And then what are also, if you are given one, the red flags you should be looking out for as an artist?
Sure. So the first question that you've asked me, I didn't went into details, but I think I need to go into details for the audience to understand and to also be aware of everything contract and everything percentage. So when you just start, you are an artist that just started, you start with one manager. And this manager is your entitled manager, and he can do so many different stuff. So he can be also your business manager. He can also be your A&R. He can also be, like, he can do so many different things for you at the moment, because you just started and you just need one. But the more and more you grow, the more and more now you need more people around you,
board,
because your career needs also to grow, and one person cannot do all of that for you. Now, normally a manager is supposed to gain 15 to 20% when there is a contract.
15 to 20% of your earnings as an artist.
So earnings, well, it depends. You can write that in the contract, but mostly it's more about the money that the label are going to give you, or the recording label is going to give you. You take your 15 to 20% on it as a manager.
Right.
Now, there is a lot of managers that don't even know that and don't protect themselves, so they don't even do a contract to actually protect themselves until they reach this point of where the artists now have a contract. So there is this first kind of contract for the normal manager. You have to protect yourself and do a contract that can protect yourself right now. As in, there is no contract with any label, but you can already do your own contract as a management contract and explain in the contract that, okay, for the moment there is no contract with any label, so I don't gain anything. But as soon as there will be a contract, I need to gain either 15 to 20% from the advance that you are going to have, or
Right.
from the money that the label is going to give you. Or you can also add other stuff. Now, if you do a partnership with anyone, I'm supposed also to gain a percentage. Now, if you do, I don't know, anytime you win money from somewhere, I'm also
Like
supposed to gain
brand
money.
ambassadorial or something. Or
Exactly.
even merchandise or something.
Exactly.
It could extend beyond just the recording contracts. It could
Yeah.
go beyond that.
Yeah.
And the manager could still potentially benefit from such other enterprises.
Yes, it can go beyond that. It can go beyond that. And if you don't protect yourself, also you see a manager, because he comes with the fact that he wants to invest in the artist. He wants to put himself in the career of the artist. He comes with a lot of love, a lot of help that he puts in the artist. And this help also comes with a lot of money. So he can even write in the contract that as soon as now there is a contract with a label, all the expenses that I'm going to do on you are supposed also to be refundable to me.
I see. But wouldn't that be problematic? Because it could be a very long time before the artist is signed. And if he has really gone a long way with him, that would be a lot of money he would be looking to actually recoup. Is there a red flag an artist should look for regarding such contracts, or it's something that's sort of usual in the industry?
So, of course, the manager cannot ask to gain his money before the contract with the label was done. So you come with your heart. You saw this artist, you want to help him. So this is where you come with your heart, and there is no money really involved, because the artist is not gaining money. So he cannot refine your expenses. You are doing these expenses, but it's also coming from you, from your own heart. You see? Yeah. But when now there is a contract and now the artist is also winning money, this is where the contract you can write. Exactly.
Okay, so that means they could actually agree on maybe a particular amount, which may not necessarily reflect how much he has spent so far.
Yeah, they can agree on a certain amount. They can also agree on the expenses, on the specific expenses that he's doing for the artist. So every time he's doing an expenses for the artist, he's supposed to take the picture of the receipt and then put it somewhere, and then speak also to the artist. Oh, I've paid that for you. You have to refund me
this amount.
Yes, this amount.
Without if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have spent this.
Exactly.
And speaking of labels, because we started bringing labels into the discussion, what exactly is a record label, and what is its significance? How important is it to the career of an artist? Because I don't know if it's just me, but record labels tend to get a bad rep in the industry, and they're often viewed with some skepticism, like they are out there to get artists. But let's also look at that too. Is there a fair assumption, or it's a misconceived notion about record labels?
Well, it depends. And then also it depends on the contract that you have. There are some contracts that are tricky, and if you're an artist and you never went to see a lawyer, and you did everything through your own eyes of an artist, and you didn't even read well the contract, now you can also find yourself in a tricky position and be like, okay, now I don't like labels. But actually, everything is written in the contract. So if you have a good lawyer, or even if you have just a lawyer, you can hire a lawyer just to look into your contract and give you advice. And then that's it. You pay him just for the fact that he was able to read the contract.
Is better than no lawyer at all.
Of course.
If you can get an expert in the music space, at least someone who's legal and who understands.
Of course.
But what exactly does a record label do for the artist?
So there is different kind of contract, first of all, and there is also different kind of record label. So, for example, let's start with the most the one that everybody can just have, can just benefit from it, which is the distribution. So any artist can distribute his song on every streaming platform, and there is a distribution platform that are free, or there is some also that you need to pay. So when the distribution platform is free, the artist gain 80% of his royalties. When the distribution platform is paid, this is where the artist gain 100% of his royalties. And this is very easy. You can go online, you type distribution platform, and you select the one that will be the best for you. There is normal distribution platform. There is also distribution platform that give label services. So this is where the more you go into a distribution platform that give label services, we can also now go into the other side of being now into a label. But because it's the label of the distribution platform, it's not a crazy big label. And this distribution platform will only give label services.
Yeah.
So for me, this is one of the best. If you just started, it's good if you go into this kind of contract, because at least you still stay independent. You own your master. There is no tricky way. There is no, like, it's very easy. Either you just distribute your song without any contract, or either now you go into the label services, and mostly the contract that the label services will propose you will be a licensing deal. So licensing deal is also something that is very temporary. It's a 50-50 contract, or it can be a 70-30 contract. And because it's for a limited period of time, at some point you can leave this contract, and then also you still own your master. So you are still independent at the end of the day, and you can just do your own thing with your own DA, and you don't have to. The label doesn't own anything from you.
I like the fact that you're talking about owning your masters, because so from listening to you, it seems like that's the path most artists are taking now.
Yeah.
They are moving away from the traditional record label sense where the label funds everything and then owns the masters.
Yeah.
And then, so you're saying now labels are moving more into assisting with the distribution aspect, and then you would still own your masters as an artist.
Exactly.
But is there a downside to this?
Of course, there is always a downside. That's why it's good to see a lawyer, because the lawyer will be able to identify the downside, and he will be able to advise you and tell you, okay, now you see, you will get an advance. You will get this advance. Maybe it's going to be 30,000. Maybe it's going to be 40,000. Maybe it's going to be 50,000. But you also need to give them 4 albums or 3 albums or 3 projects. Or you see, like, there is always a tricky way.
Yeah.
And there is some contract where it's very tricky, because there's some contract that will even ask you, but this is not really in licensing deal. But there is some contract, for example, you do an artist contract. So this is another kind of contract.
Okay.
Artist contract, the label will pay for a lot of stuff for you. The label will own your master, so now you are not independent anymore.
Yeah.
But the label will give you a lot of money. So the artist will see money, and you will be like, wow, I will have this money for me. Okay, I want to sign the contract. But then maybe in the contract is written that you have to give 10 albums to this label, to this contract.
Like your minimum products commitments is like
exactly. It can be 10 albums. 10 albums is a lot. 10 albums is a lot. Like, people don't even realize how 10 albums is a lot, and you need to recoup the money back. Always.
Those albums have to be profitable.
Always. For any contract, it can be licensing, it can be 360, it can be artist deal. For all of them, you need to recoup the money that we are giving you. So the money that all the labels are giving you is actually for your project. It's actually for you to be able to pay the producer, the songwriter, this person that will be engaged in your project. But also, there is some contract where you are independent, and they don't really track where the money goes. They give you this money. They tell you that this money is for your project. But now also there is some options in all of these different contracts. So there is some options. For example, we will give you, I'm giving you an example. We will give you 1 million. We will give you $1 million dollars, for example. Yeah. But in this $1 million, we are going to keep 50,000 as an option, and we will just give you 50,000 right now. After recoupment, we will give you the other, 500,000 right now. After recoupment, we will give you the 500,000. Or maybe after recoupment, we will give you 300,000, but we will keep 200,000 for marketing that we will invest. But
so it's not going to come to you.
Exactly. It's not going to come to you directly. But you saw the 1 million and you're like, everything will come to me. Yeah. So there is always tricky ways, and it's always good to double check everything.
You mentioned 360 deals. I was going to ask, red flags, because I for 360 deals, they are quite dangerous, and I think most artists would not be interested in it because it goes beyond just the recording and your royalties from your music, and then affects every other thing you do as an artist that may be related to the entertainment industry. In your experience, would you advise an artist, especially an emerging one who's financially struggling? Because at the end of the day, it's about the money for most people.
Yeah.
So if a label offers you a huge sum of money, but then the deal sort of encompasses branding, merchandise, even if you are not doing music and maybe you are doing acting or something, like, they would say it's still part, give us money.
Exactly.
Would you advise an artist to sign such a deal? And if not, what is the alternative to not signing such a deal? Or how can you negotiate such contracts if a label wants to sign you?
Okay.
In such a situation, what do you do?
So actually 360 deal, yeah, is the most tricky one because the label take care of everything, all of your expenses. They give you an advance. They take care of all of your expenses. And then also like, because, you know, the expenses of an artist are a lot because you will go on tour. You will have some sponsorship. You will do so many different, your dressing, your DA, the project, the distribution, the strategy, the promotion. Like it's a lot. It's a lot of money involved. So yes, they will give you an advance. They will also pay for all of that. And like I said earlier, every money that a label is giving you have to be recouped. So you have to be able to give the money back through the money that your project will earn. So through your royalties, or for the 360 deal is through the royalties, but through also the money that you will gain from sponsorship, or through the money that you will gain from different merch or partnership that you will have, the money that you will even gain from the different tour, the different concert and stuff. All of this money goes to the label because the label gave you an advance and they are paying for everything. So everything have to be refinable. So you as an artist, at the end of the day, you won't even touch that much because all the money of your music is actually going back to the label because the label have to get the money back from all the money that they invested in you. So this is where like you actually don't gain a lot. And so I don't recommend the 360 unless if you are a crazy big artist and you know that like, you know, you can, it's easy for you to have money from everywhere. But really, this is not what I recommend. I really recommend for the moment for artists to stay independent.
Okay.
So licensing deal for me is the best. An artist deal also can be good. But yeah, like in every contract, like you have to check how many albums you have to give. The advance can be very good, can be very big. But will you be able to refine this? Because if you're not able to refine the money, this is where the label or all of these different contracts have another way of keeping the money for themselves because you were not able to refine the money back. It's like if you go to the bank, yes, you can borrow money from the bank, but there is also, you also have to be careful because if you're not able to give the money back to the bank at the certain time, even the money increase. There is an increasement of money, a penalty and stuff. It's exactly the same thing. There is nothing that is free on this earth. And if someone wants to give you a certain amount of money, always ask a lawyer to double check the contract because there will always be a tricky situation that mostly artists don't even see because they don't even see a lawyer. And because the managers also don't even know any lawyers because when the manager came on board and the manager was like, okay, I want to be a manager, it was a verbal agreement. So it was not even a paper agreement. They never went to see a manager. And so this is where like you as an artist, you didn't know that you were supposed to see a lawyer. Your manager too was not
experienced and doesn't know the formalities associated with the business.
Exactly. So now, for you guys, it's tricky. For you, it's tricky because
and I think that's
you're in
how
a situation.
The disputes start.
Exactly.
And speaking of disputes, I want us to segue into this case study. In 2022, Black Sheriff was sued by his former manager, and there was an injunction. Initially, that injunction was dismissed. But recently, the matter sort of had a little buzz online where I think the trial has actually started, and then there were some issues about Blacko not reading his contract and whatnot. I think for an emerging artist, it's better. They say a wise person learns from the mistakes of others, but an even wiser person a wise person learns from his mistakes, but an even wiser person learns from the mistakes of other people, so that you don't find yourself in such situation. Because if you're in the music space and you have a career going on and you want investors coming on board and whatnot, it's best to avoid such situations. So I think to guide the discussion, we can use that as a case study and then discuss how to approach disputes as an emerging artist. What are some things that you should do when, not just with your manager, with your label? What are some things that you can do to avoid falling into such pitfalls?
So the most important thing is always to have a contract, and it's to have a good contract that will actually protect both parties. So a contract that will protect the manager, a contract that will protect the artist, and a contract that will also protect the label, that will also give money either to the manager or either to the artist. So there is some artists that have verbal agreement with their manager. Like we said earlier, when you are an emergent artist, you don't really know much. When also you just started to be a manager, you don't really know much, and now there is no contract. But both of you, because you know the vision, the manager will bring you to this global vision. Now you sign a contract, and for example, the artist signed a contract with the label. The label will give, first of all, case study, the label will give money to the artist, and unfortunately, the manager won't even touch his 15 to 20% because there were no agreement in between the manager and the artist. And this is where the manager is mad at the artist, but he can also be mad at the label because it's the manager that brought the artist to this label, but the manager is not touching anything. And this is where the label is like, we are not part of your issue, guys, because it's between you and your artist. Exactly, it's between the both of you. Yeah. Or it can be also another case where the label is supposed to give the advance or any kind of money to the artist. Now, the artist is like, okay, for example, we're in Ghana. I live in Ghana. I don't have an international account. I cannot get the money that you want to give me. Can you give it to my manager? And remember, there is no contract. Or maybe there is a contract where it's written that the manager can actually sign contract on your behalf or on stuff like that. So it's a contract in between the manager and the artist. Yeah. So the artist will tell the label, oh, sorry guys, I don't have an international account. Can you actually send this money to my manager, and my manager will send the money to me? And then this is where the label will say, okay, you gave us the permission to send the money to your manager. We are going to send the money to the manager. The label have all the proof. The label have everything that prove that the money has been sent to the manager. And now the manager will gain the money. And because there were no contract, the manager can also keep the money for himself and actually never give it to the artist. And the artist now, will be like, okay, I want my money. Where is my money? But the manager will be like, the manager can even tell the truth. I got your money, but there's no contract in between us. Or the manager can simply lie, and then this is where the artist is in the position where he's not understanding the label and he's not understanding the artist. And now he's just by himself and he has lost money. He was not even able to get his money. Right. So it's very important to have a contract.
Spell out everything
clearly. And if the manager, everybody wants to protect their own person. So if a manager is doing a contract if the manager is doing a management contract and he's sending this contract to you,
he's looking out for himself.
So of course there will be some stuff
that would not necessarily be benefit you.
Exactly. So the artist is supposed, even if it's your manager and you believe in him and you think that, oh, he's my manager, I don't really need to go and see a lawyer because he's my manager. We're doing everything together. We live together. We do this together, business. We are friends. At the end of the day, this is business. So you always need to go and see a lawyer because the lawyer will be able to detect the red flag and be like, okay, this doesn't benefit you. Let's change some stuff. Same for a label that goes to an artist. the label is also going to protect themselves. Same for an artist that want to protect himself. He will also negotiate the contract and have a contract that will be good for him. You can always negotiate. So always try to find a way that will benefit all the different parties, and that will protect all of you guys.
Yeah, and I think still on the topic of the provisions in the contract to a dispute resolution clause, like a well-drafted dispute resolution clause will go a long way to avoid certain things, because sometimes people omit something we call ADR clauses, that's alternative dispute resolution clauses, and it just gives the parties the leeway to quickly, the moment there's a dispute, then they rush to court. But ADR clauses are good because they help you attempt amicable settlement, so negotiation, mediation, and typically it could go a long way to prevent your reputation from being damaged and whatnot, and it could even avoid the whole brouhaha associated with courtroom action. So Charlene, we are once again very grateful for having you on the Community First podcast. We don't want to steal too much of your time, but before I let you leave, that sounds dangerous, but before I let you leave, I want you to just give our audience out there, especially people who may be involved in the music space, who are emerging artists, what would be what do you think should be their takeaways from the conversation we just had? What are your last concluding remarks for them out there?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm very glad to be here, and it's always a pleasure for me to be able to also give knowledge about music business. So thank you so much for that.
It's a pleasure.
The advice, right?
Yeah.
Or okay, so
concluding remarks.
Okay, the concluding remarks that I will give to all the artists is that always protect yourself. It's very good to have a contract. It's very good to see a lawyer. We have this idea of the fact that lawyers are expensive, so we cannot really afford a lawyer. We cannot really, be involved in everything that is legal and stuff. But guys, we can also just pay a lawyer again just to read your contract and to give you the advice that you need to go into. And then now also, if you can, we can also hire a lawyer to also write a contract for you and stuff. But just even hire just a lawyer just to read your contract, right, is the most affordable thing, and is the most
sometimes
accessible
you
also
may
thing.
not be able to even afford a lawyer like you're saying, but there are certain people who have worked in the space so much that I think worst case scenario, at least show their contracts.
Exactly.
Those people, and let them see if they can see some red flags that they could have advise you about.
Exactly. Yeah. And then read it. Read it. Don't just have a contract in front of you, and because you are an artist or because you are in the entertainment scene, you don't want to read the contract. Just read it. Just even with your own knowledge, you can actually identify the bad things. You know, there is, like, all your life you've seen so many different contracts. You learn about contract at school, and then also even when you have just a job, you know, there is a contract, and you take your time to read this contract. It's the same thing in the music industry. Just take your time, read the contract, and make sure that you also protect yourself, because every contract is tricky. Every money given to you is tricky, and no one does anything with their hurts. You know, we are all human beings. You can do something with your hurts, but at the end of the day, human beings are also very ungrateful. And this is where now, you know, everything is just a mixed match, and now everybody hates each other.
A big problem. Thank you very much. So this has been the Community First podcast. In this episode, just to recap, we had a conversation with Charlène Osei Mensah. She's a co-founder and country manager for Tieme Music in Ghana. And we talked about artist management contracts, music recording contracts, what a record label is, who is an artist manager, what are their roles as an artist, what are you supposed to do to ensure that you are protected, what are you supposed to do when a dispute arises between yourself and your label or your manager. And we hope at least you're able to take something away from this if you're an emerging act out there. It's been a lovely conversation, and catch you another time.